Let's give it a little Chiefs here. How about those Chiefs?
Hello, folks. Welcome to episode 32 of Season 2 of the GOAT Series, the last episode here on Season 2 of the GOAT Series. Welcome to Jeremy Hadler's YouTube channel, and I'm your host, Jeremy Hadler. And today, I'm going to be talking about the second greatest Chiefs player of all time in franchise history. Yes, the second greatest Chiefs player. I did a last episode with the Patriots. I'm going to do this episode because I think it's very obvious who the GOAT is in the Chiefs franchise history is Patrick Mahomes. If he were to retire right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd put him on the spot, and I will stand by that take. So, Patrick Mahomes is already the greatest Chiefs player in franchise history if he retired today. And if he keeps going, he still will be the greatest Chiefs player of all time in their franchise history. So we're going to move up the list like we did last episode. So I'm going to take my honorable mention, move them up here. But to give you the rules here again, I choose 5 candidates here, like I just mentioned, who I think is the greatest second Chiefs player of all time. And the criteria I look for is how do they play with the team? How are they on and off the field? What was their tenure like with the team? What accomplishments did they occur with the franchise, and the stats for the franchise obviously important. How they played, most importantly, too, folks. But we'll be starting off with my first guy on the list here, who is supposed to be honorable mention. Had we have Patrick Mahomes to do our ultimate, but we're doing our second greatest Chiefs player because I think it's very consensus here. But let's start off here. This guy played 12 seasons for the Kansas City Chiefs, and that is linebacker Bobby Bell. Bobby Bell, Chiefs Hall of Famer. He's in the NFL Hall of Fame. He's a one-time Super Bowl champion, one-time AFL champion, one-time Defensive Player of the Year, one-time first-team All-Pro, 5 first-team All-AFL, 1 second-team All-Pro, 1 second-team All-AFL, 3-time Pro Bowl, 6-time AFL All-Star. Again, he made the Chiefs Hall of Fame, and he got retired by the Chiefs, number 78. And his stats, because stats back in his day did not really count like how we do today of tracking them. They weren't tracked well back then. But what we found out about his stats is he had 26 interceptions and 40 sacks. Those are the 2 things I found about his stats. But what is he known for? Why I put on my list is his exceptional speed. He had great speed, like Speedy Gonzalez. He had great speed, very versatile, and he made game-changing plays, guys. He was able to make the stops when you need him to, and he just did it. Where you need to make a tackle, you need to make a stop, make an interception, get a sack. He'd do all of that. He would do all of that. And he helped the Chiefs win their very first Super Bowl back in the day and the championships before the Super Bowl era began too. Plus, you won a Super Bowl and you still did it in the Super Bowl era as well. It's pretty ridiculous given the 12 seasons he played. But let's move on to Len Dawson here, folks, because he's another guy I put on my list, but gotta give a shout out to Bobby Bell. Next player on the list, who I just mentioned, is Len Dawson. Played 14 seasons for the Chiefs. He's a Hall of Famer, one-time Super Bowl champion, 3 AFL champion, one-time Super Bowl MVP, one-time AFL championship MVP, one-time AFL MVP, one-time NFL Man of the Year, 2 first-team All-AFL, 2 second-team All-AFL, 6-time AFL All-Star, 1-time Pro Bowl, 4-time AFL passing TDs leader, 6-time AFL passing rating leader, 7-time AFL completion percentage leader, 1-time completion percentage leader. His stats here, folks: 28,507 passing yards, 237 passing TDs, 178 interceptions, 83.2 pass rating, and his completion percentage, he had 57.2 completion percentage. Not completely terrible given back the era when it was pretty bad for completions, so that's why the number is a bit down, but that's still pretty good given his era, I would say. That's pretty good. But what stands out to me about Len Dawson, he helped the Chiefs win their very first Super Bowl, like I mentioned with Bobby Bell. He had pinpoint accuracy in his game, so if you need to throw it down the field or you need to hit a man, he hit him wide open. He'd get him right down. He didn't do it against the Packers in the Super Bowl I, but he did phenomenal work with the Chiefs before the Super Bowl era and after the Super Bowl era, and he was the greatest Chiefs quarterback of franchise history until Mr. Patrick Mahomes came in and took that out with the Super Bowls. But what stands out to me again about Len Dawson is he was poised under pressure and he had great leadership. He'd be like before Joe Montana came into play, with like relaxing the huddle, relaxing the other guys, and just getting it done. And just be calm. When the pressure's on, he would light it up, folks. He would light it up. So, got to get appreciation out here to Len Dawson here. Phenomenal player, Hall of Famer, has to get appreciation here. Next player on the list, this guy, everyone should know him. Even if you're not a football fan, you should still know him. And that is Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift's boyfriend. Yeah, Taylor Swift's boyfriend, guys, for the non-NFL fans who never heard of his game. Played 12 seasons for the Chiefs so far. 3-time Super Bowl champion, 4 first-team All-Pro, 3 second-team All-Pro, N-time Pro Bowler here, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting stat about him. He had 7 consecutive seasons with 1,000 or more receiving yards by a tight end. That's the most seasons by a tight end. And the most receiving yards in a season, which is 1,416. And he had the most seasons with a reception by a tight end, 3, folks. So that's pretty cool. And another interesting fact is he has the most games with 100 or more yards received by a tight end. That's 35 times he's done that. Pretty ridiculous, folks. Then to give you another interesting fact about him is he has the most games with 100 or more yards received by a tight end. That's 35 times he did it. His stats here, folks, he had 1,004 receptions, 12,151 receiving yards, 77 receiving TDs. He has the most career receiving TDs in the postseason for a tight end. Pretty great to see that. So what stands out about Travis Kelce? Obviously, he has his new podcast with Jason Kelce, the New Heights show. That's pretty good. And he's in a relationship with Taylor Swift. That's what the people outside the NFL know him for. They just know him for that. And that's why you see a lot of Taylor Swift fans, and they pan the camera on Taylor Swift every time you see a Chiefs game. Happens every single time, I swear, the last 2 years. Very annoying to me. Very annoying for the NFL fans. We don't want to see Taylor Swift like 5 times a game. We just can't take it anymore. Now let's talk about his game. He's known for his elite route running, his hands, his playmaking ability. He redefined the tight end position. I will definitely say that because you look at the tight ends today, like Brock Bowers, George Kittle, look at Kyle Pitts, who's not great at fantasy, but good besides fantasy football. Those tight ends are getting more statistical and they're being more involved. And George Kittle and Travis Kelce invented the tight end university, where all the tight ends from every NFL team come together and try to work on their game. They try to work on their game and they do better. So, got to get appreciated out there for Travis Kelce for that. And he definitely did refine the position because the stats are going ridiculous, guys. They're getting ridiculous of like, you wouldn't expect the time to do this. Like back in the day, maybe you see one guy be like very good at tight end. And I've seen multiple guys. Like he's helping out future tight ends to be pretty good. So that's pretty good to see there. But another thing that sticks out to me is his clutch moments, guys. Now I mentioned in last episode with Brady and Gronkowski. You're seeing Mahomes and Kelce. Those two duos are one of the best QB tight end duos of all time here, ladies and gentlemen. One of the best. He can break the tackles. He makes the big plays under the pressure moments. Like you need to get in field goal range. We've seen this a million times. Mahomes getting down the field. He did it against the Bills so many times. True Kelce throws it. Boom. Kelce gets it down the field and sets him for game-winning field goal or overtime, whatever, to help him win the game after all. So he's very good, especially under pressure moments, and he's a matchup nightmare. Now, he didn't have a great Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles because the Eagles defense they did pretty good matchup. But every other game besides that, it's a matchup nightmare for Kelce. You can't match up against him. And what's interesting about Travis Kelce, I will say, is his brother Jason Kelce helped him have a football career. Because Travis Kelce, before like the whole podcast, the whole relationship with Taylor Swift, before he even got in the NFL, he had off-the-field issues. And his brother Jason Kelce, who's one of the greatest centers of all time, especially with the Eagles franchise history, one of the greatest players there, he helped Travis get a football career. He helped him get his head focusing on his education. Travis got kicked off the football team a couple times, and Jason held him. He basically had a talk with him, and he got him back on roll, and that's why like Travis wears his number for Jason Kelce because that was Jason Kelce's number, I believe, in college, in Cincinnati or high school, whatever it was. But without Jason Kelce being a presence for Travis Kelce, you might not hear Travis Kelce being this great. You might hear him like, oh, yeah, he was great way back in the day. Now that you look at Travis Kelce, phenomenon player, has to get appreciation here. And his coach, Andy Reid, drafted both of them. So, got to get appreciation out here to Travis Kelce. Phenomenal player. Has to get praise here. Will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Absolutely can say that. I will say that right now. He'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer here. Next player on the list, going with another tight end. And this one, I love his introduction on Sunday Night Football. It's the funniest one. Let's play here, folks.
Tony Gonzalez, University of California. Okay?
Tony Gonzalez, nicknamed Mr. Rebounder because he played college basketball at Cal, guys. And he was very good at March Madness and pretty good basketball player, too. Played 12 seasons with the Chiefs, 5 first-team All-Pros, 4 second-team All-Pros, 10-time Pro Bowler, 1-time receptions leader, made the Chiefs Hall of Fame, in the NFL Hall of Fame. Stats here, guys. He had 916 receptions, 10,940 receiving yards, 76 receiving TDs, total scrimmage yards of over 10,954. Yes, that's 14 more yards, guys. But you got to get appreciation out there. You got this 14 yards. Give a little kudos to that. But the big thing that stands out to me about Tony Gonzalez, I always remember, is he never got the Super Bowl. Even when he went to the Falcons, he just never could win the Super Bowl. He can never get up there, never had a great team behind him to take him very far. But he was a very fun player to watch. He's a very fun player to watch, and he has the most career receiving yards and receptions as a tight end. Pretty ridiculous. And his arm extension is pretty good because he could block out guys like you would always see like him. If you watch clips of him playing college basketball, he would literally just beat him one-on-one and like keep blocking and reach out for the ball. Like you're getting past the ball, boom. And that's what's really sticks out to me about Tony Gonzalez is when a quarterback threw to him, he was able to throw his hand out there and pull it back in. He had ridiculous arm extension, and he played in 270 regular season games and only missed one game, guys. One game in his career. Ridiculous. He was very durable, very athletic, as I just mentioned. His hands, fantastic, and he was a mismatch problem against defenders. When you had defenders trying to match up against him, like we mentioned with Travis Kelce, it was a nightmare, and Tony Gonzalez still beat him one-on-one. And I love Tony Gonzalez's touchdown celebration with the field goal post. That's pretty good. It's kind of like the spike with Gronkowski, like I mentioned before. But Tony Gonzalez, phenomenal player. I love watching him and love watching his game. Phenomenal player. So I got to get appreciation here. Has to definitely be on this list here. Definitely be on this list. All right, to get to my last player here before I pick the second greatest Chiefs player of all time, that is Derek Thomas. Derek Thomas played 11 seasons for the Chiefs. He's a Hall of Famer, one-time Man of the Year, two-time first-team All-Pros, three-time second-team All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowler here, guys. Yeah, 9-time Pro Bowler, two-time forced fumbles leader, one-time sacks leader, made the Chiefs Hall of Fame. Guys are retired, of course, the NFL Hall of Fame, like I mentioned before. His stats here, folks. He had 126.5 sacks, 641 combined tackles, 41 forced fumbles, 5 passes defended. He's the all-time sack leader in Chiefs franchise history. That has to stand out to me a bit. That gives him a bonus point for that. Now, what is he known for? He's known for his explosive speed and relentless pursuit of quarterbacks. Great technique and his speed were a mismatch maker for the opposing offensive lineman. He can make a stop when you need to make a tackle, just knock a guy, swat the ball. He make a stop. You need to make a stop in the pressure moment. He was there. He was there. He was the heart and soul of that Chiefs defense. Absolutely he was. And he was a great leader on and off the field. He was a phenomenal player. I never got to watch him play, but when you watch his highlight tapes and everything, it is ridiculous of what he did during his time. A lot of guys can't do that nowadays. But what he did was ridiculous. And he's one of the greatest linebackers of all time. So got to give appreciation here to Derek Thomas. One of the greatest here, folks. One of the greatest. And now we get to the second greatest Chiefs player of all time, folks. To me, it comes down to two players here. It's not Derek Thomas. It's the two tight ends, Tony Gonzalez and Travis Kelce. They have the same amount of Pro Bowls, basically, in how many times they played and the seasons they played in their total career. They got very close of all pros. I think the stats edge it out for me with Travis Kelce. Now, I get you have Patrick Mahomes, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but Travis also had mediocre quarterbacks, too, back in the day. He had Alex Smith a bit, too. I mean, Alex Smith wasn't completely terrible, but he was mediocre at best. I'm just going to put it that way. But Travis, you can't see it today. Like, you really just cannot see him put up like the 7 consecutive seasons with 1,000 receiving yards or more by a tenant is ridiculous. He's arguably the greatest tight end of his position, arguably better than Tony Gonzalez and everything. I just love him so much of what he's able to do in his game. He's pretty ridiculous and mismatch maker. He's a mismatch maker and just got to get appreciation here. I think it's Travis Kelce here. So I'm going with him as the second greatest Chiefs player of all time. You can't repeat what he's done with his career, of his stats. Probably will not get repeated for a very, very long time. Unless you got like 2 Patrick Mahomes for the next Chiefs tight end, maybe that gets changed. But I got to give it here. Travis Kelce is the second greatest Chiefs player of all time franchise history, in my opinion. I'm going to stay by that. I'm staying by that. As I mentioned before, Patrick Mahomes is number 1. Travis Kelce is number 2, guys. Then number 3, well, that's another debate for another day. But that'll do here, folks. I appreciate everyone tuning in as the last episode here of Season 2. Love to hear your thoughts once again. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Season 1 we did. Season 2. Season 3, we'll see. We will see if we have Season 3 here of the GOAT series. But that'll do here, folks. Once again, love to hear your thoughts in the comments of who you think is the second greatest Chiefs player of all time. Who you think should have gotten mentioned. Who you think has to be the second greatest Chiefs player of all time. Let me know in the chat. Love to hear it. But as always, go Pack Go here, folks.